Hello, Nari McDiarmid for miningnews.net, and I'd like to welcome Ron Heeks, Managing Director of Larvotto Resources. And Ron, the company wrapped up a pretty strategic acquisition late last year. How do you now describe the company to potential investors?
Yeah, thank you, Nari. Well, we've moved very, very rapidly from an exploration-based company to an exploration and a development-based company with the acquisition of Hillgrove. It's a very advanced asset. It's got a 1.4 million ounce resource. 65% of that falls within measured and indicated, and we're moving that into reserve as we speak. We've got a fully functioning plant, which we will tweak and expand somewhat. We've got the senior team in place, ready to go. We've got 15 kilometres of underground development. So it's a very advanced project. And we've started a huge amount of work. We're drilling deeper targets at the moment. There's an extremely high-grade target below the existing workings. And, that had hits in 23 of 256 grams, that sort of tenure. And we're seeing some pretty interesting results come out of that. We look forward to releasing those. So that'll show the upside, but the main thing is about moving it back into production. At 6.1 grams equivalent, it's one of the higher grade operations in Australia, and we're looking forward to letting people understand how good that can be.
So, Ron, what's your focus then for 2024?
2024 is really about bringing the project into a very advanced state. So, as we said, we're well along the way with lots of things. We've got lots of metallurgy study going on at the moment. We've got 7 metallurgists and 3 laboratories tweaking the metallurgy. And of course, the mine's got a huge history of getting very good recoveries in both gold and antimony. But we're looking at tweaking that and expanding the plant a bit to get some unit cost benefits out of that as well. So that will feed into the reserve. The reserve will feed into a feasibility study. The longer term task that we've got is permitting a new tails dam. We see that as nothing new. There's already 2 tails dams on the project. We just need a new one. And that's our main time driver on that one. But we will be ready to go with all our information within the next 6 months. And as soon as that tails dam comes on, we'll be off and running.
So, a big year ahead, Ron. In terms of driving the progress, what would you like people to understand about Larvotto's leadership team?
Well, we've all done this before. We've picked up a very good team when we took over the project, who had been working on moving it into production anyway. So they're over all of the issues, and that helped us a lot. That was a huge leap forward. We've got to bolster some of our team both in Perth and on site, as you typically would when you're ramping up. But between the senior executive and the board, this is something that we have done before. We're playing in a great space. We're in critical minerals. And certainly the New South Wales government is in both their documents talking about critical minerals, mention the Hillgrove operation. So it's great to get that support. And having antimony and tungsten both are at near record prices. Antimony now 13,000 US a tonne, tungsten about 50,000 US a tonne, with the benefit of gold in there as well. And that's near all-time highs. So, we're really in the right commodity stream at the right time, which is, good because some of the market is a bit challenged at the moment.
Well, you mentioned the right commodities, Ron. So, to sum up, though, how would you pitch Larvotto to a potential investor?
I think the main thing to look at is that we're a near development play. It's a high grade operation, considerably higher than most of the newer projects that have been coming on. That gives you, a lot more flexibility. The margins are there to do the job properly. And the benefits of high grade operations, the analogy for us is the Fosterville and Costerfield mines in Victoria. They're a very similar system. They had antimony at the top. They're both in high-grade gold at the moment. We've demonstrated that we've got high-grade gold from the exploration that's already been done. The mine has, typically produced high-grade gold It's a great time to be a gold miner. So it's really all coming together. The mine has had a checkered history, and that's probably its biggest single problem. And largely, when you look at the history of that, it's not through the operations itself, but certainly companies that have had the operation have got into trouble. Red River before us, unfortunately, have had a major problem with one of their other operations, and the result was that they had to move this asset on. So good for us, bad for them, unfortunately. But once we show people that, it's all good, the metallurgy is good, and the metallurgy has always been good. It ran as a very profitable antimony operation for 30 years. It's run as a gold mine for many, many years. This will be the first time it's actually run as a gold and antimony mine. And those credits are about equal. So, putting both of those together when it's run successfully with one and the other, we see that as, an interesting challenge. And we just need to tweak some of the metallurgy, but the rewards should be there.
Well, Ron, thank you very much for taking the time to go through that this morning.
Thank you. Pleasure.